Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today I searched Reddit to find a good topic, Mr. Magazine.
Good for you.
I'm going to read and then I want you to discuss. Ready?
Yep.
The more experienced I get at this, the more I understand why flipper influencers buy lists in such large quantities. Those good days are few and far between. You'll have more days striking out than you do striking gold. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I am almost 40 units behind what I used to have listed over the past 3 weeks. Man, I've been striking out, even today. It makes me think back on all the times I left stuff behind because it would be over my budget. I could have been 50 plus pieces ahead to list during the days I can't find anything. So now I understand why full-timers and influencers list and buy so much in a day. It's always better to be ahead.
I totally agree with that. And that's been my philosophy for decades. And that's why I have a million extra items sitting around in case there's ever a drought. I am good to go. Yeah. And I don't just have, you have a majority of comics and books for your backup and magazines. I have
paper items, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been buying different stuff over the years. So I got comics, sports cards, record albums, autograph stuff, posters. So we have a huge variety of different items in bulk too. So, not that the posters are going to get hot anytime soon, but if you buy these things over time, I'm going to have some good posters to sell. I'm going to have some good comics you pick up, and maybe they sit around 10 years, but you go through them like, wow, this is good now. So definitely strike when the iron's hot. Always take advantage of a big deal. And Paperboy, I was just talking to him about, money's a little tight now. I got to pay some money to the IRS. Do I still buy these deals? And we both agree that, yes, I should keep buying these big deals because that's what's going to carry me down the road.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I've made mention before, which I'll bring up again. I know I was at an auction years ago, and there were a couple of bidders going hot and heavy after some magazines, and then all of a sudden one of the bidders just kind of walked away, and there were still a couple of lots left. So I said, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Are those things, garbage, coverless, whatever it was? No, I got enough. Okay. So I went up, and meanwhile, the other bidder had also left. So I ended up buying 2 or 3 small boxes of, 20s and 30s or 30s and 40s magazines that'll actually sell for really, really cheap because both bidders walked away because they had enough.
Yeah.
And my way of looking at that is there are only a couple of times when you have enough. And that's when you don't have any more money. I mean, literally, if you literally are out of money or whatever, you brought $100 with you, they don't take credit cards, and you literally are spending the $100.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Yeah,
and they won't cut you any deal, they won't pull anything. Or if you're 3 hours away from home and you're literally out of room.
Yeah, that's
the other thing too.
At home, even though we say we're out of room, we can always make room for something that's worthwhile.
Well, what I mean by that is you're out of room in the car.
Yeah, right. You're done.
In the
that's
car.
It, yeah.
You literally can't fit anything else in the car.
Remember that one deal I was at for us, and I had my truck and it was overloaded. I had to leave stuff, but and it was far away, so I'm not coming back an hour away or 40, whatever it was round trip. It just wasn't worth it. But I did so well with it that I was happy with the truckload. Nowadays, maybe bring the box truck or something, but we didn't have it back then.
Right, yeah.
But there was a deal we just talked about today, too, where, yes, I have 1 million items backed up probably, or 500,000, whatever it is, and a guy had computer magazines from the 80s for free, like 1,000 of them. And I've dealt with him before. He gave me free stuff before, but I think he dropped it off, and but he lives an hour and a half away. And I almost was going to say no, I appreciate it, but I'm thinking, like, I don't need them, but I'm basically throwing money out the window because I know 80s computer mags sell, So I paid my employee to go out there with the box truck and, say I got in labor and gas $100 into it. Well, now I got 1,000 computer mags from the 80s that we sell, on a regular basis, so, never turn it down.
No, right. Yeah, something or other like that. Yeah, definitely. And I was saying there, okay, you literally run out of room. The instance where I was talking about was a couple of hours away. The one you were talking about was an hour and something away.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm coming close to running out of room, but I'm 15 minutes away. Something? I'll come on back, save this other stuff for me, and maybe I'll take a look for some other stuff because guess what? At that point, I've got an empty truck again.
Yeah, definitely, vehicle. It's worthwhile. You got to do it. Take advantage for sure.
But that is very, very true, and that is one of the reasons why. And we've mentioned it any number of times. If you are at a sale where the prices are crazy, don't just give up and say, I got enough stuff. And there are times where, and I'll tell you, when I almost feel like doing that, and then I think about it, and I just remember I have to keep doing it. And that's because I buy things differently than you do. And there'll be times I'll be at a flea market, and we're talking, I'm a mile away from the car, 3/4 of a mile away from the car, and it's 98 degrees.
No.
Or it's a monsoon.
Yeah, that's tough. You got to weigh up your options there. Yeah, I've been through those, mud. You're walking through mud.
Or you're at an estate sale, and this stuff is super heavy. You're parked way down the street, and then you're sitting there. And I've never had the problem that I'm aware of anybody stealing anything from me. But you're also worried about that. I'm going to buy all of this stuff, and how am I going to get it all? And I'll carry the best stuff with me, and maybe they'll let me pull the car in the driveway and load the rest, because that's what some people do. But do I really want to carry, especially if it's one of those things that's like 4 or 5 more middle of the road okay books, and you're like going, well, do I really want to carry it? Because it rained yesterday, and if I put those on top and then I spill,
exactly,
I've ruined everything. So there are times where you sit there and you weigh it up, and you're like, I don't know, it's a $20 book.
Well, even now we'll have a different mentality than 20 years ago. We didn't have all this excess inventory, so we were more eager to I need this stuff, I got to buy this stuff, I got to keep it all, I'm going to go back and forth. We were young and vibrant and stronger, faster, whatever. So we nowadays we might say, geez, it's pouring, it's muddy. Do I really need these extra 50 or 100? Maybe
if they're mediocre.
Right.
If they're mediocre.
If it's a great deal and you're into pennies on a dollar and the stuff's sellable, by all means take it, and every time.
Yeah, I think that mediocrity, I think, is what it comes down to. And I'll give you a perfect example.
Or work, if it's something that, sorry to interrupt, but if you're, it's just all work. Obviously we're not going to buy National Geographics, but something that.
You know what's funny? I was just going to ask you about National Geographics. $5 each.
Yeah.
1914 through 1917. Exactly. I left them.
Here's the thing.
But I know they sell.
If I knew the maps were in all of them, like if it said with maps and everyone has it, I probably would take them.
If they had the maps.
Yeah. If I know, but then if I don't know, I'm like, if they don't have the maps, it's a headache. I'm selling. Then I got to look for the maps, and when I'm, so. But yeah, definitely.
I ended up leaving them, but that was one of those that I was sitting here. It's funny you said that about National Geographic. I literally was just going to ask you about that.
But yeah, you don't want to take work with you either, if it's mediocre especially.
Now, I did go through all the National Geographics to make sure there was nothing from the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay.
1902, I would have bought that, no doubt at all. But it was 1914 on, and I go, I know these things sell. They're, $20, $25, $30, $40, whatever, depending.
Sure.
I'll just pass on it. There weren't the maps in there, so I just took a pass. So hopefully that does help you a little bit, and I want to thank people over on Reddit for giving us some material, and I want to thank you for hitting the like button, and we will see you next video.
Thank you. Bye-bye.